Hey everyone, thanks for joining me again. I'm Nick with the Arclight Dynamics Tech Department, and today we're here to talk about FlashCut and nesting in FlashCut in particular, and the two different ways of doing it. We have grid nesting and we have true shape nesting, and how to get through those and what's going to work best for you. So I'm starting out my process today by creating a 6x6 base plate, and I'm going to be moving that into the cam process. And in the cam process, all I want is this base plate nested out multiple times. Since I'm looking at a static shape, square, circle, rectangle, something like that, we want to use grid nesting. When grid nesting first comes up, a lot of the times it will be showing that it wants to nest left to right. On the x-axis, when you do that, chances are you're going to have a long strip of unusable space at the side. Where if you nest on the y-axis, nesting direction, chances are you're going to end up with maybe usable material at the end of your sheet. So when you're in grid nesting, you want to put your part spacing, and 1 inch is far too much for these parts. We're going to be using 1/4 inch, so we're going to make this about 0.2 for our part spacing on the x and the y. And then up here, we would do a part count, however many parts we want. We can't do necessarily a fill to sheet on this, but right now we want about 45 of these, so I'm going to punch in there 45. And if you need more than that, say you're looking for 1,000 and you know more are going to fit, or you know that many aren't going to fit on a sheet, you can go right here to automatically add workpiece, and that's going to put the remainders onto other work pieces, so you can just go ahead and get that all nested up and run those files. That's not what we're doing right now. We need 45 of these. We're going to go ahead and hit start nesting, and that there has nested 45 of these base plates on this 5x10 material. Now that we have that, we can just go ahead and lock that in at the bottom. Once we have that locked in at the bottom, we have our nest set, we have it ready to go. We then can push it into CNC, and then zero out, home our table, and start cutting. And now we're going to talk about when a customer sends us some files, or we have to make some brackets that aren't exactly static shapes, squares, circles, stuff like that, L brackets, odd shapes. We can use what's called true shape nesting, which is located right here. And we need to go in here, we need to punch in a bunch of different settings, which we're going to go through right now. And that's going to just nest out the whole sheet, rotating the parts, making them fit in as good as possible. Anyway, at the top we have both our parts loaded in. We don't have a count amount of each we want right now. We have a customer saying fill a sheet with both of these, as many as you can. So right now we're going to select fill sheet for both of these selected as fill sheet. You could also fill sheet with one and do a specific part count with the other. But we're going to do fill sheet with both of these brackets right now. Going down a little bit, nest from corner. That's set how it is, that's great. Nesting direction, if yours starts in the X direction, left to right, you might want to change it to the Y direction, but it all depends on you and your shop. Part spacing under parameters. We're cutting this out of, I believe, 16 gauge, so we want to make this a small part spacing. That's just a waste of material, so we're going to go like 0.15. Minimum distance from sheet, we're just going to leave it as 1/4 inch. Rotation step. Now if you're just throwing in some squares or octagons, something like that, you can leave it at a 90-degree step. That's as many times as it's going to, as much as it will rotate each time it goes to look for a solution. So I'm going to use this drop down, and I'm going to select 10 degrees, so it's going to do minute rotations trying to get stuff in the best it can. Coming down to the bottom, advanced parameters. Placement accuracy, again, if you're not doing static parts, if you're doing a lot more intricate parts like we have here, we're going to take that placement accuracy all the way up to 10. Then we're going to come back up and we're going to select Start Nesting. And as you can see, after a few minutes there, maybe 2, 3 tops, it's found a solution and it has nested these parts out as best as it can on this sheet. And now we're going to want to lock that in. And after we lock that in, we can go ahead and move it over into the CNC by hitting the arrows in the center there. And just like that, in a matter of probably 5 minutes, we took that customer's files, we nested them out and got as many out of this piece of material as we could. Thanks again for joining me today, and that's FlashCut nesting. Whether it's grid nesting or true shape nesting, getting a few parts or a full array, with FlashCut nesting, you're going to have those parts ready to cut quick and easy.